What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So in the last 24 hours, we've had some groundbreaking information from Benedict Cumberbatch, who's always been a pinnacle part of Marvel movies, talking about Infinity War, Endgame, also the multiversal saga, the whole spell in No Way Home, the ending of his own movie, Doctor Strange 2. But what he said recently changes absolutely everything we thought we knew about Avengers Doomsday and about the whole multiversal saga going forward. He didn't spoil it. He didn't leak anything. It's a controlled leak. He got permission to say that. He didn't just randomly come out and say, yo, I'm not in Doomsday, because everyone thought he was going to be Pinnacle. And what he's just said debunks a lot of the scoopers information about Benedict's role in Doomsday, because he's not even in it. We're going to break it down, and also how this correlates to an untitled Marvel movie, potentially. But Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange, is still a huge part of the movie without even being part of the movie. So, yo, what is freaking good, YouTube? Voice you here. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, Kaiju, Monsterverse, pop culture-based content that I try to deliver on a daily basis. Good. Subscribe to channel, turn notifications on. Also, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Although, I will be coming back on camera very soon when I get the new setup completed. Also, check us out on Twitter, HushTuG. Right, let's get into it. So, Benedict Cumberbatch did an interview with a Hollywood trade called Variety. This is not a fake Twitter scooper. This is literally his words himself. So he said, you see, he's just told me that Doctor Strange is taking a hiatus in the next Marvel sequel, being Avengers Doomsday. Is that a spoiler? He asks. It. So everyone assumed he was going to have a pinnacle role, but he does explain why he hasn't. He says under Ters, he shares that things change. When Jonathan Majors, whose character Kang was intended to serve as the main antagonistic of the next phase, meaning the multiversal saga of the comic book franchise, was fired in 2014 after being, okay, that's not factually true, so I won't say that. So what he said is, Cumberbatch's absent from Doomsday has the character not aligning with part of the story. And although he probably shouldn't be saying things, he also reveals Doctor Strange is in a lot of Avengers Secret Wars, which will hit theaters in 2027. But we've got to understand and we've got to remember there is a bunch of release dates that are empty. So Doctor Strange 3, from what he's saying, it does sound like it's going to be made. So in 2026, we have an untitled movie, February the 13th, before Avengers Doomsday. That could be Doctor Strange 3. Maybe he's not in Doomsday because his exposition for like a 10-20 minute role in Doomsday wouldn't be enough to serve his purpose. Because as we know, Strange is going to be the one with Clea in Doctor Strange 3, going to Dark Dimension, trying to sort out these incursions. And he's most likely going to be the one recruiting a team because he knows about the threat, even if the threat is changed. So that could be Doctor Strange 3. But obviously, he's going to have to start shooting if this is the case. So Doomsday comes out May the same year, 2026. Then there is a summer release, untitled Marvel movie number 2, July the 24th, 2026. A lot of people have assumed that that is Spider-Man 4. It's got to be. Spider-Man 4 has got to be one of these. And then we have untitled Marvel movie number 3, November the 6th, 2026. Now, hopefully the rumors are wrong and this is not Shang-Chi 2, and hopefully this is Thor 5. I really hope that is the case. So, Benedict said they are working on Doctor Strange 3. He's already said that. We're going at it in a bit. We just had to say that for context. So, Benedict went on to say in the same interview, he's quite central to where things might go. Cumberbatch teases. He hints that his character, last seen casting the spell in 2022 Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, will appear in the third standalone film, but is hesitant to say too much beyond praising Marvel to being collaborative. So, as we know, Alex Perez is the most trusted inside source. So he said this post the information coming out about him not being in a movie. A lot of the ideas they had for it certainly looked like they could work for a third Doctor Strange movie. And what made it work was that it would justify Strange's absence in Avengers 5 before returning for Secret Wars. So it could take any of the slot of 2026. Now I'm not so sure. Strange was poised to have one of the biggest roles in the multiverse saga against Kang. And they had some really good story ideas for the character, one of which raised the question as to whether or not Strange was actually a hero in the grand scheme of the multiverse. His words say one thing, but his actions in the multiverse say another. The more help he wants to do, the more damage he does. The fabric of reality. Benedict Cumberbatch as Dr. Stephen Strange, with Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Victor Von Doom, will shatter the universes. They will feature some of the most important sequences in the multiverse saga. I'm hearing very exciting things regarding Doctor Strange's story leading into Secret Wars. I wrote an article a while back about Strange versus Kang in the multiverse saga, where I talked about Stephen Strange's role and how essential he's been portrayed in most of his alternate iterations as the biggest threat to the multiverse. Given how Strange has been the one who's been ultimately causing incursions throughout various universes, the storyline is still being explored here. But now, instead of having Kang, you have RDJ's Doctor Doom, posed Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange. Just think about the weight of this moment. Dr. Stephen Strange, a character we've seen be a force for good, time and time again, being forced to face the reality that he is being dubbed the greatest threat in the multiverse, with the evidence to prove it, because nearly every other version of himself has allowed their ego to make bad decisions, costing their reality. Opposite him, you have Doctor Doom, one of Marvel's most iconic and epic villains, as ambitious, egotistical, antagonistic, who is trying to find the secrets of the multiverse and the reason behind its decay to prevent the death of the multiverse from ever happening. Could Strange be easily manipulated by Doom into doing his bidding? After all, they are both instrumental in the Time Runs Out and Secret Wars storyline in the comic. Another pairing I find interesting is what Doctor Strange and Clea are doing in the Dark Dimension, as for the post-credit scene in Doctor Strange 2. I've been investigating this for a while, and what I'm curious in seeing is the reaction that the heroes of Earth 616 will have to when we see Strange next, because by all accounts and proposes, Stephen Strange has been gone for 2 years, 2 whole years, by the time he reached Doomsday, and he's left the Sanctorium unguarded as well. He certainly didn't tell Wong where he was going, so that's going to be a reunion. I'm very much looking forward to see him. It won't say it's Doom. It's always been Doom, but the theme that I think will resonate here is that in a multiverse of endless possibilities, anything is actually possible, and nothing is set in stone. Just because something happens consistently in every universe, it doesn't mean that it's bound to happen in yours. Doomsday will focus on what exactly is to blame for the current state of the multiverse. Was it Kang? Was it his variant? Are his variants going to be killed at the start of the movie? Hopefully. Was it someone else? What I'm hearing is that they're going to try and shift the blame onto Doctor Strange. And it's a motive that's been building for quite a while now. I've explained it before in my previous arc and Q&A. But the idea is to make Strange the common denominator when it comes to the incursion. And a good part of these films is Strange trying to reject that notion that all strangers are meant to doom in the universe by making him be the one to save it instead of be the one to destroy it. Now, it's also worth saying that if they're not putting Doctor Strange in the movie, it does make sense. Because if Strange is going to be the catalyst for it all, or be the savior, Alex Perez says it as well, but a lot of people are thinking this. Strange's story requires a lot of exposition because he is indeed the instrument of the overall multiverse. And it's not something you can easily write into 20 minutes of Doomsday. So if the reason why Benedict's not in this movie is because they're going to use Doctor Strange 3 movie, which a lot of people have alluded to, it's going to be loosely adopted on a Time Runs Out, then it would make sense. Give Doctor Strange his own movie instead of making him a side character in a movie that's already inflated with a lot of big names. So if Stephen Strange is very important, they're going to have to set everything up for his part in Doctor Strange 3. And he did go on to say he's got a huge role in Secret Wars. So whatever happens in his movie, we know he's the catalyst of the incursions, hence why the post-credit scene of Clea saying, yo, you've caused an incursion. Then he gets that random third eye, which is kind of random in the context that it was never explained. So it does make sense why Stephen Strange isn't in the movie. But why in the title, why I said, this changes everything? Because it does. Everyone expected Stephen Strange to be one of the leads of this movie, and he's not even going to be in it. So, like I say, don't always believe these Twitter scoopers, you know, because they will say, oh, Scarlet Witch is going to be, you know, Doctor Doom's girlfriend. Is she? I don't know. So, Benedict went on to say that he is actually quite important when it comes to the thought process for Doctor Strange 3. They are very open to discussing where to go next, he says, and what to write and who to direct the next one. What part of the comic lore do you want to explore so that Strange can keep evolving He's a very rich character to play. He's a complex, contradictory, troubled human who's got these extraordinary abilities. So they're potent stuff, not to be messed with. Now, just because he says here, right, I think this is a hit piece, right? And I think he's been told what to say. It's not a real leak, it's a control leak. Just because he says he's like behind who can write it and he's got input in who directs it, doesn't mean Marvel aren't ready to shoot this movie in the next 3 months. Because it's got to be, this movie, because he's so important to Secret Wars, his movie has to come out in 2026 or before Avengers Doomsday. Now, it would make more sense to have it released before Avengers Doomsday. So it makes sense. But, I mean, there's no other untitled movies before Secret Wars. Unless they were to push Doomsday back a little bit and have Doctor Strange 3 come out in May and they could push Doomsday back a little bit. There's a bunch of untitled movies from Marvel in 2028, but it won't come out after Secret Wars because that will make no sense based on what he said. He said he's very important. So whatever is important, he's going to have to set up. So everything that we know about Doctor Strange 3 is currently, and this is coming from Alex Press, a time's run out in Doctor Strange 3. According to our sources, Marvel Studio wants to adapt elements from A Time's Run Out. The film will pick up right where it's left off in Doctor Strange 2, where Clea traveled from another universe to seek out Strange to help fix the incursions that he's actually caused. From what he's heard, it's going to be sought after a multiversal organization called the Black Priests. According to our sources, Clea is a member of this organization. The Black Priests HQ will be in nothing space-destroyed universes, which exists within space of 2 dead universes caused by this incursion. It will be revealed in the film that the multiverse is dying. The cause of this decay is a result of the incursion happening all across the multiverse, the most recent one being the Doctor Strange movie. The film will also elaborate on a point being made that the previous movies regarding Strange and his threat to the multiverse. It was made clear in previous films through Christina Palmer 838 research that Stephen Strange is one of the most dangerous threats to the multiverse. However, they have yet to be specific how exactly he was dangerous outside of what Strange 838 did. The up-and-coming sequel will explore how Stephen is a threat to the multiverse by establishing him being the common denominator when it comes to incursions across the multiverse, aside from the main danger, which is obviously Doom. When this article was written, it says Council of Kangs, but this is going back to August 2023. But also, the Council of Kangs are still there. They haven't been defeated. That is why I keep saying that they need to obliterate the Kangs at the start of this movie. Start Doomsday, or do it in a post-credit scene for the Fantastic Four. We know it could be RDJ that was on set, or it could be the original Reed Richards. Whilst it will be confirmed the main reason for the decay of the multiverse is due to the incursions caused by the Council of Kangs, okay, that still happened in theory, is unknown at this time if the film will feature a Kang variant, or if the flat-out confirmation the source of the decay. So obviously it might be Doom instead. We know this. However, our sources told us that the film will serve as prerequisite to an Avengers film, but obviously this article is outdated now, so it'll probably be set post-Doomsday, or setting up Strange massive role. I wanted to say, it's important to note that while the information regarding Doctor Strange 3 was provided to us before the strikes took place, these ideas could have changed. It's always say stuff like that. So that's pretty interesting. The movie's going to basically tell the audience why Strange is so bad, the reason for the incursions, and what Strange is trying to do, and Strange essentially being to blame. So maybe Strange is the only one that can save the day. Who knows? So it's going to be very interesting to find out how this plays out. And I honestly think Doctor Strange 3 will come out next year. Benedict said he was going to film Avengers 5, but maybe he's just shooting Doctor Strange 3 instead. Either way, we're going to know soon, and there will be official announcements soon. They're not going to give him a huge role of Secret Wars where he appears out of nowhere and we haven't seen him for 2 years. So although this does change everything we know about Doomsday, this just means Avengers Doomsday is going to focus more on what Doom is trying to do. Doom is trying to work out why the multiverse is decaying. He wants to save it. It makes the movie a lot more interesting because Strange is going to disappear, but Doctor Strange 3 is going to tell us everything we need to know. Then bam, we're in Avengers Secret Wars, which is the combination of the soft reboot or changing everything. So, like always, guys, let us know. What do you think? It does change everything that we know about this movie, but everything we thought was going to happen regarding Doctor Strange will happen, but it's just going to happen in his own movie, which is even better because we've needed Doctor Strange 3 for a long time. We've needed Spider-Man 4 for a long time, and we've needed Thor 5, and there's 3 untitled movies coming out next year, so we could get all of them, which is, if we get 2 of them, we'll be sick. I really don't, I mean, Shang-Chi 2, fine, but we need Thor 5, because they always bang. We need Doctor Strange movie. We need Spider-Man. And then Marvel is back, baby. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu. Check us out on Twitter, Warstu G. And I will catch you in another video, guys, very soon. Catch you later.